It is Tuesday night, and we are live once again for round number 2 of the County Road Custom Late Model Challenger Series tonight, the Wet Willy 125. I'm Jeff By Jr., joined by Bill Tomer in the ITZR broadcast booth. And Bill, we had a fantastic race last night, and we are set to go again. Almost, I believe, just about 40 drivers signed in, going for just 26 spots in tonight's feature event.
Oh my goodness, that is a lot of cars. We didn't quite have the car count we expected last Tuesday night, Jeff, but we've got it tonight, 40 cars, and we possibly could have more. I think we're up to 42, I'm showing on the list, so well, it is going to be an interesting evening. 26 spots racing in tonight's A main. We'll have split B mains tonight. It's going to be an exciting night of racing.
Practice is underway, and we'll kind of talk about who's fast in practice. Maybe a surprise at the top of the board. Caleb Hall, fastest so far, 18.956 for Caleb Hall. Timmy Holmes, who was fast last week in Nashville, got caught up in some incidents. He's up there in second. Chase Johnson, third. Aaron Plemons, Chris Roma, some newcomers to the series. Right there. And if you're hanging out with us on Facebook, make sure you like and share the stream. Leave us a comment. Let us know who you're cheering for. You got 42 drivers to pick from tonight, so plenty of options. Let us know who you're here to watch. And if you're one of those drivers that just happened to turn on the stream to see it live, share it with your friends. Let them know you're racing tonight. And get them in here, and let's have some fun.
I think we expect just that, Jeff. I think we're going to have a ton of fun tonight as we see cars off the racetrack getting ready to go qualifying for tonight's Wet Willy 125.
5 bonus points on the line for fast time, 4 for second, third, 3 points for third, 2 points for fourth, 1 point for fifth fastest quick time. And those are very valuable if you're in that hunt for the championship. You need those bonus points. They add up very quickly. And along with that, $5 to the Fast Time Award from Wisconsin Weens and Walleyes. So if you're looking at doing some hunting, some fishing, check them out. Wisconsin Weens and Walleyes on Facebook. They can get you out and get you hunting, get you fishing, teach you how to get it done.
I believe last night it was the 67 car of Timmy Holmes was our Wisconsin Wings and Walleyes Quick Time Award, as we see times hitting the board already. Latham Joyner is going to go quick time in the number 3. Josh Parrish going to slot at number 2 in the 55. You're watching Cale Hall out of the racetrack, newcomer this week.
Chris Roma now to the top, and 19.065, pretty close to his practice speed, so he backed it up. Latham Joyner still second, Craig Tolley third, AJ Rogers now fourth on the board. Josh Parrish, he had a fantastic run last week, finished in the top 3. We got to talk to him a little bit. He's sitting fifth on the board right now. Last week's winner, Josh Kosick, I believe that's how you say it, right, Bill?
It is Kosick. We did ask him last week in his winner circle interview. It is Kosick.
Bladen Edwards third now on the board, 19.126 for Bladen Edwards. He's going to bump AJ Rogers out of the top 5 as Ricky Howell goes fourth fastest, 19.144 for Ricky Howell. Still Chris Roma at the top of the board.
Rick Rube on the racetrack. Here's Noah Allison in the 24 car. He's out there doing his time. Frank Griffith just finished his in the 54. He'll go P27.
Lee Norton, P2, 19.094. Only the second driver to hit one of those 19 zeros. He goes second fastest. Kyle Martinson to fifth on the board, 19.132. He gets bumped. Aaron Plemons, new quick time, 19.062 for Aaron Plemons.
We saw Aaron Plemons last week, ended up on his roof down the backstretch at Nashville. Looking for a better night tonight. Here's James Seawright. He's out on the racetrack in the number 8. Chase Johnson in the number 83. He's on his flyer.
And Timmy Holmes, new quick time, 18.993. The only driver to get into the 18s. He is now fastest overall. And time is starting to take away. Just about 20 seconds left for these drivers to get in their qualifying laps.
Regan Parent, Jack Pelliser puts a lap down. Seawright still out there on the racetrack in the 8. Here he comes off of turn number 4 to put his lap down just as the session ends. Seawright will go up to P9 in the 8 car, so that will lock him in tonight's A main. That's it, Jeff.
Yeah, Josh Kosick just got bumped out of the feature event from qualifying right there. So your last week's winner going to have to come in through a B main.
That shows how tough this field truly is, as he is going to be in tonight's first B main event. They will split. We will have 26 cars that will be split into two B mains, so two 13-car B mains. Both
Yeah,
20
this is
laps apiece, limited to 12 minutes each. So this whole thing will take about 24 to 26 minutes.
And there we go for B main number 1. We're going to be taking 4 drivers to the feature event from this 13-car B main. On the pole, last week's winner at Nashville in the feature event, Josh Kosick. On the outside of him in the 09, it'll be Elliott Carlson.
Starting in the 3rd position, he ran the late model shootout series last night. In the 42, it's Super Zach Onen. And to his outside in the 54, we saw him have a good week until the very end last week. It's Jackson Crowder.
Starting 5th in this B main will be the 1 car of Caleb W. Hill. On the outside of him in the 17 will be Regan Parent.
Starting 7th in the 15 machine, that is Connor Jones. And to his outside in another number 15, that's Tanner Carter.
Starting in the 9th position, the Wisconsin Weens and Walleyes machine, the 5 of John Piet. On the outside of him, the 84, that's Landon S. Huffman.
Starting in the 11th position, in the number 9, it's 077 in your programs. That's Kale Hall. And to his outside, starting 12th in the 29, it's Matt Owens.
And starting in the 13th and final position in this B main, he's got a lot of cars to pass if he wants to race in the feature. That is the 54 of Frank Griffith.
So we will be taking 4 out of this B main. 8 cars in total will transfer to tonight's A main event.
Aaron Johnson hanging out in the chat, wishing everybody good luck. He had a pretty good run last night. I believe top 10 finish for Aaron Johnson in the late model shootout series. He's here watching some of his buddies racing in the Challenger series.
Jeff, do me a favor and check to see how many locked in from qualifying.
Sorry, what were you saying?
How many cars is the server showed locked in from qualifying? It might actually be 16. So we're actually going to take 5 out of this race. So 5 cars will make it out of this race. I had issues with math earlier. No worries. Just let these guys know. We'll give them an extra spot out of the B main.
So here we go. Kosick going to take us green flag, racing last week's winner in this B main. He is off and away. Elliott Carlson going to try to get to the bottom, not able to do it. Here comes the 42 of Zach Onen up the inside, and Onen got a little sideways down the back straightaway there, and that's going to let Kosick kind of drive away. He's going to try to get out front and just get away from the rest of this field.
Kosick is gone out front. Zach Onen's going to battle. Here comes Jackson Crowder up the inside of the 54 car. Elliott Carlson on the top in the 09. These guys are all battling in the transfer positions. Elliott Carlson going to slide back to 4th. He'll find his way in line. Caleb Hill going to hold down that final transfer spot of 5th. Right behind him, you've got Connor Jones and Tanner Carter, the 215s coming forward.
So Connor Jones on the outside looking in right now in that 6th position in the 15 car. He needs to get around the 1 of Caleb Hill. Hill protecting the inside, though, so not giving Jones much to look at there. He's going to have to set up this 1 car and get around him.
He is right there right now in the 15 car. Has to find his way around Caleb Hill. Tanner Carter dropping off just a little bit in the second 15. Right behind him, you see Landon Huffman. Landon Huffman came forward just a little bit. I believe he started on the inside of the second to last row. He's put a couple cars behind him as he's now running in 8th, but he's got work to do if he wants to transfer. You see Tanner Carter get up into the outside wall, got a little loose off of turn 4. Got the outside wall with that 15.
Still this heavy battle right here for the 5th position. Elliott Carlson running 4th. You got Caleb Hill in that 5th and final transfer spot. And Connor Jones in the 15 trying to find a way around. He is putting a lot of pressure right now on Caleb Hill.
Just can't make the move. He's running a good line, trying to stay on the bottom there, but Caleb Hill is able to get off the corners just a little better, running that a little bit higher line off of turn 2. Still got a little bit of time, 14 laps remaining in this race as they hit the start-finish line. Taking a look at Josh Kosick out front. He is out front by 0.6 of a second over Zach Onen in 2nd place. Jackson Crowder in the 3rd position, all going to transfer. Elliott Carlson as well in the 09. That battle is for 5th. It's Caleb Hill sitting in that, Caleb Hill in the 5th position with Connor Jones stalking him. These guys all doing a really nice job getting around this racetrack, but I'm sure the price of poker will go up in this B main. Somebody's going to want to get into this race.
Yeah, Connor Jones has not lost touch with the one, and right there, as I say that, he got up the racetrack into the marbles, and that really cost him some time. So he just lost some ground, and now he can see Landon Huffman starting to gain on him. Here comes the 84, and the 84 is he started 10th, and he is up to the 7th spot, trying to pick off some cars. But again, we've been green flagged this entire time, and maybe Landon just kind of needs a caution to reset things.
He's got 2 cars that he needs to pick off. We talked about it all night last night. It is really difficult to pass cars here at Stafford. You have to set them up, you have to make the move, and it takes a long time to set it up and try to make the run and get down the straightaways and try to get by somebody, especially when everybody's running the exact same setup. Or you can wait for the guy in front of you to make a mistake. You saw Connor Jones in front of Landon Huffman that time get a little bit sideways, and now he's up the racetrack just a little bit. This might open the door, but that momentum on the top side that you see Connor Jones shoots away down the straightaway.
Yeah, Landon Huffman is there. He has caught the 15 of Connor Jones, and behind him, Regan Parent is starting to catch them as well. So this battle is just heating up. More and more cars starting to get into the mix. Caleb Hall is all over Elliott Carlson as well. And if you're Caleb Hall, or Caleb Hill rather, in the one car, you'd kind of like to have a little bit of a buffer. If you could pick off one more car, not be in that final transfer position, that would ease some pressure a little bit.
Absolutely. You do not want to be the guy that's in the last transfer spot, but right now he's got about a car length advantage over Connor Jones. As Connor slipping and sliding a little bit in that 15 car. You see he's trying really hard to get on the gas, but that car is just stepping out on him just a little bit as he comes off the corners. Just cannot make it stick. You see right there, you see his hands moving back and forth inside that cockpit, just dealing with a little bit of loose condition off the corner.
And here he goes, Caleb Hill able to get around Carlson. Carlson drops back down in front of Connor Jones. Jones threw it in there, was trying to get to the bottom of the 09, knew that might be his opportunity, not able to do it. And now Landon Huffman got a little tap from Regan Parent, and that kind of slowed the 84's progress down a little bit.
Yeah, Parent has now made it to the back of Landon Huffman's back bumper. He's to the inside in 3 and 4. Did not get into him as he gave him the spot back. But Parent definitely has some speed there in that number 17 machine, as he is now into the left rear of Huffman. Huffman's going to go hard into the outside wall.
That's going to trigger a caution there off turn 2. The 84 Landon Huffman into the outside wall, and we're going to take a look at that one, see what might have caused that contact. And they were side by side. The 17 got down to the bottom.
Huffman up the track just a little bit. Regan looks to the inside. It's a move that Huffman kind of opened the door a little bit as he went into the corner, just washed up the racetrack, and Parent said, well, okay. But just as he went to make the move, Huffman slammed the door closed.
Yeah, to me, it's kind of the definition of a racing deal. One guy got up the racetrack. He tried to come back down, close that gap, and by the time he got down the racetrack, the 17 had just started to put his nose there. He's just rolling the bottom of the racetrack, doing what he needed to do, and the 84 just tried to close the door the last second. It was just too little, too late. So that is going to erase that lead that Cossack had built up over Zachary Onan. So Cossack, Onan, Crowder, Caleb Hill, Elliott Carlson, your top 5. Connor Jones still going to be the guy on the outside looking in right now in that 6th position. Move Reagan Parent up into the 7th spot. Tanner Carter, John Piet, Cale Hall, Matt Owens, Frank Griffith.
Jeff, in our B mains, the yellow flag laps do not count. So we try to give these guys as much green flag racing as we possibly can. So you see these guys going to double up. This is not what the guys in the even numbered spots wanted to see.
No, absolutely not. But, and if you're Josh Cossack, you didn't want to see that caution either. He was gone. He was in the feature event. No worries. And now he's got a pressure behind him again as we go green flag racing once again.
Cossack out to a big lead as we enter turn number 1. Here comes Jackson Crowder. He's going to go to the inside of Zach Onan. Here comes Connor Jones on the outside of the 15 car. He was on the outside looking in. He's to the outside of Elliott Carlson. That's going to be a battle for your last transfer spot.
And Carlson had to sail that thing off in there into turn 3 to keep the 15 alongside of him. He does not want to give up the bottom contact. Carlson's going to go to the infield. He is spinning into the grass. And here comes, the 09 comes back across the racetrack.
And that is a big, big wreck. As it caught it caught Caleb Hill as he was driving around the racetrack.
Yeah, Caleb Hill, just the victim in that one. The 09, just he got spun into the grass. He couldn't get that car stopped. You could see when he hit that pit road, it just flew across the racetrack, and unfortunately, he collects Caleb Hill.
And ironically, he ends up also collecting Connor Jones, who was the car that he made contact with off of turn 4. But you can see as Elliott went into the grass, you can see his right front is locked solid, so he's trying to stop the car. Cannot do so. Boy, oh boy, that shook up the transfer positions just a little bit, Jeff.
Yeah, so right now it's going to be Cossack, Crowder, Odin, move Connor Jones up into the 4th spot. Reagan Parent now into that 5th and final transfer spot. He's going to have Tanner Carter, John Piette, Cale Hall, Matt Owens, Landon Huffman, Frank Griffith, and I believe Caleb Hill is going to rejoin this field as well.
So battling within the transfer positions. Just incidental contact off of turn 4. Looked like Connor Jones just got a little bit loose in the 15 car. Got that car a little bit sideways, and he made contact with Elliott Carlson, sent him to the grass.
Shout out to Brett Suggs hanging out with us in the chat. Last night's runner-up in the late model shootout series. Dale Mears here with us. I thought Dale should be racing and not with us racing tonight, but he did run on Monday, so maybe just wanted to do a single night of action. His pace car heads off the racetrack. Cossack going to take us green flag racing. Crowder on the outside. Crowder didn't get a great restart. That might open up the door for Zach Onan, and now Crowder just going to close the door into turn 1.
Oh, and Tanner Carter went to the bottom and threw a haymaker at Regan Parent.
And we got a mess down the back straightaway. They're 3 wide. I see the 84 car on the inside of John Piette. Here comes Parent again, makes contact with the 15. Now the 84 is going to slip by as well.
Parent was clearly not happy. Drove back down to the bottom. Got it. Oh, now Huffman's going to get into Parent. Parent's going to save it. Here goes Tanner Carter.
Matt Owens and John Piette went around. Frank Griffith was spun around on the front straightaway as well.
But the white flag is out.
Yeah, that's going to end our race. Is Cossack going to come around, take the B-main victory? Crowder going to finish 2nd, Onan 3rd. Looks like the 15 of Connor Jones going to finish 4th.
Oh, my goodness.
And I believe Reagan Parent going to get that 5th spot.
Parent made contact with the 15. They were just beating and banging for that final transfer spot. Carter had bumped Parent for the final transfer in 1 and 2. Parent repaid the favor in 3 and 4. Whew. I'm sweating. Turn the fan on. That was insanity. And then Tanner Carter not happy as they went down after the start-finish line and basically just drove it into turn 1, tried to wreck Regan Parent, but Regan Parent going to be the final car to transfer.
That was insane. I mean, I saw some people in the race chat were saying that was the LCQ of the year right there, and I mean, you can't doubt it as we head into B main number 2, taking 5 more drivers to the feature event, starting on the inside, road number 1, the 70. That is Dylan Canova. On the outside of him in the number 2 car, it's JJ Chansey.
Starting in the inside of row number 2 in the 31 machine, that is the familiar Brad Carpenter. And to his outside, making his return to the series after many years in the 77, it's Austin Benson. Starting
5th tonight in the 81, it'll be Rick Rube. On the outside of him in the 24, it's Noah Allison.
Starting in the 7th position in the 27 machine, that is AJ DeSantis. And to his outside, coming off a top 10 finish last week in Nashville, in the 43, it's Ronald Cole.
Starting 9th in the 15 car will be Ryan Joyner. On the outside of him in the 28, Jack Pelsier.
Starting 11th in the number 51, a newcomer this week, it is Talon Pelfrey. And to his outside, starting 12th in the 62, it's Jason Dinsmore.
Jarrett Campbell was scheduled to start 13th in this B main, not going to make the call. So the driver of the 04 not here with us in the B main, not going to make the feature event if you don't race the B main. So we're going to move on with 12 drivers going for 20 laps, 5 cars move on to the feature event.
Well, we'll catch our breath after that previous B main. We'll rack them. Stack him to rack him once again. Another B main here. Split B mains tonight in the Late Model Challenger Series.
Pace car going to head off the racetrack. Dylan Canova going to take him. Green flag racing. And it's been a while since we've seen Canova, but he is a fast driver. Been very quick in the Challenger Series. And JJ Chansey just not able to get going. That's going to cause a yellow, I believe. Is maybe not. We're going to stay green, but that is a tough break for Chansey and Brad Carpenter, who just got caught up in that one.
The yellow does come out, Jeff. Yellow flag does come out. We'll take a look and see what happened to those drivers. They came off of turn 4. JJ Chansey having some issues with that start. Oh, just spun the tires, Jeff. Spun the tires. Austin Benson nowhere to go. Gets into the back of the 2. You see the 2 wiggle before Benson ever got near him.
Yeah, and that was
wiggles. And you got to feel terrible for Brad Carpenter, just on the bottom, minding his own business, trying to get his start going, trying to make it into the A main event. You see Chansey just wiggles the car, gets sideways, gets into Carpenter. I'm not sure if Austin Benson even made contact with the 2 car.
Yeah, unfortunate for Chansey and Brad Carpenter. I think Brad Carpenter might get bailed out here because we don't count caution laps. Sometimes it'll move drivers back up to that spot, and it looks like it is going to. So he's going to get to restart in the 2nd position because we did not complete a lap. So a tough break for JJ Chansey. He's going to go to the rear field because he caused that caution. But Brad Carpenter going to get a lucky break here, going to get back into the 2nd spot.
So taking a look at your field now that JJ Chansey is tagging the back here. Check that. Pace car is off the racetrack. Dylan Canova going to bring us back to the green flag once again. Brad Carpenter back up in a 2nd. Rick Rube 3rd.
Here we go. Canova got a great restart. He's going to jump out to a huge lead over the 31 of Brad Carpenter. Rick Rube in that 3rd spot. And now Carpenter sideways up at the top of the racetrack. He's going to hold on, but man, that is a tough break for the 31.
Austin Benson with issues in the 77. How did Austin Benson end up in the back of the field? Did he get spun at some point?
And we got trouble. The 28 is around on the front straightaway. That's Pelsier. And he's going to continue on. I think the 31 might have made a little contact with him after the fact, but just looked like the 28 went around coming off turn 4. And while we're under caution here, shout out to Justin Thompson, who's hanging out with us.
Good old JT. Great dirt racer. He runs with ITZR. He's run with ITZR in the past. I think Pellister here. We're going to see, Jeff. I think he got a little help.
Yeah, that was Talon Pelfrey behind him in the 51, and might have just gave him a tap coming off the corner.
Then Carpenter, yeah, couldn't slow down. Sounds like a little tappy tap. Oh, one shot going into the corner, maybe a shot in the middle, and a shot. Wow, 3 shots at once. I mean, he's going to be drunk after that one. It's a few too many shots.
So a couple strings of yellows here quickly in this one. Dylan Canova still leading this B main. Rick Rube, Noah Allison move AJ DeSantis up into the 4th spot. Ronald Cole sitting 5th. Ryan Joyner 6th. Pelfrey going to go to the rear of the field, so that's going to move Jason Dinsmore up into the 7th position. Austin Benson 8th. JJ Chansey 9th. Pelsier going to end up 10th right now. And Bill, I think the 04 car showed up late, so I think we got a 13th place car here.
Yeah, he did. He's made it out. He's 2 laps down. I think it just gives him an opportunity to practice. I don't really think anything's gonna. There are no lucky dogs in the. At least I don't think there are in the heat races.
No, I don't believe so. Corey Bigley hanging out with us, cheering for all the Revelry and SPM drivers. Corey had a pretty good run going last night in the late model shootout series as well. So glad to see those late model shootout series guys here cheering on the Challenger Series drivers. Canova takes his green flag racing once again. Rube did not get a great restart. That opens up the door for Noah Allison. Allison on the bottom. He's going to try to get there before the 81 can get down in line. And now they're going to make contact. The 81 might spin. That's going to collect the 43. We got trouble on the back straightaway.
And the green flag and the yellow comes out. Oh my goodness. We had a great B main. And then we had this one.
Yeah, the first one was fantastic, and this one has just kind of gotten away from us here. Is the 24 Noah Allison? He just got way up the racetrack going into turn 1 and 2, makes contact with the 81, and Rube held on for a moment, but that car it was too much
Yeah.
once the 43 came along.
Yeah, you are correct. We were watching it on the replay there. You can see Noah Allison way off the bottom. That is not where you want to be if you want to not get the guy outside of you. It just gets into the left rear of Rube, or kind of the door of Rube, and Rube ends up spinning. You see Noah way up, and you see Joyner down there. That's about where you want to be, where Joyner's at. Joyner started much lower. Wow, Ronald Cole was going to go sideways. Joyner set him straight. Lucky for him.
So, Bill, we talk about the scoring being kind of funky when caution laps are not counting. Rick Rube going to get his spot back. The 24 caused the yellow, so he's going to go back to the end of the field. So move AJ DeSantis up into the third spot. Ronald Cole, fourth. Ryan Joyner now in that fifth and final transfer spot. And we did not complete a lap, so that's going to set us up into a single file finish. And Bill, Justin Thompson was asking if he could run on Tuesday nights.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't believe he's a late model shootout series winner. I mean, possibly, maybe way back in the day, but not recently. So yeah, JT, I think you're eligible. So come on, sign up. $10
He
for the
is
whole
aware
season.
this is a pavement series, right? It's been a long time since
Yeah.
I've seen JT on pavement.
Yeah, it's usually off-road trucks or dirt cars, right?
Green
And here we
flag
go.
out. Here's Dylan Canova going to shoot out of a cannon once again. The battle's going to be for second. Actually, make that probably fourth. Ronald Cole going to get a little pressure from Joyner. They enter turn number 1. Austin Benson way up the racetrack in the 77. Here comes Joyner to the bottom. He's going to look for fourth.
That's Ronald Cole in the 43 up the racetrack. Joyner trying to take that spot away. And right now, Cole, if he's watching in his mirror, he might try to pull down. He hits the wall. That's going to collect Austin Benson. Now Cole is around. The caution is going to wave, and the 43 just got up the racetrack and into the wall.
There's your, oh my goodness. Austin Benson just said, oh no. Nothing you can do, unfortunately.
Yeah.
A car flying through the air in front of you.
I was just about to say right before that happened, Cole had the opportunity to maybe just kind of let the 15 go, pull back in line, and being on the outside, he just got on the throttle too early, and you can see that car, once it started to wash up into the marbles, it just kept carrying its momentum up the racetrack into the outside wall.
And in your lap, you saw it from Austin Benson's view. Austin Benson just ended up with a car in his lap after Cole got in the wall, bounced back towards him. There's nothing you can do. You're just kind of a passenger. You're watching that car come at you, and there's no reaction time. You just let it land on your hood, and hopefully you don't get too much damage.
Yeah, and the good news for Benson, he did keep that car rolling, so he's going to be scored in the fifth and final transfer spot now. So it's Canova, Rube, DeSantis, Joyner, Benson, your top 5 cars that would make the feature event as it finished now. Dinsmore will be 6, JJ Chansey, Brad Carpenter, Talon Pelfrey, Noah Allison, the 10 car still on the racetrack. So pace car going to head off the racetrack this time and send the 70 car.
This one's certainly much rougher than the first B main.
Dylan Canova going to take off once again, and Rube did not get a great restart. DeSantis going to try to go for second here into turn 1.
DeSantis slides up the racetrack. Rube has to go really wide. Here comes Ryan Joyner. They'll almost be 3 wide off of turn 2. They'll go back down to 2 wide. Here comes Joyner up the middle down into turn number 3. Rube doesn't get to the bottom. He's got Austin Benson hunting for that spot. And we go yellow once again.
Brad Carpenter around and down the back straightaway, and I think he might have got some contact with the 62 of Jason Dinsmore. And that hooked the 31.
I think Brad Carpenter's been hit by quite a few things in this race.
Yeah, it is not Brad tonight. He started in a good position, and unfortunately,
Oh,
right from the get-go, it's just kind of unraveled on him.
again, just a innocent bystander as Dinsmore got loose off of turn 2, came down the racetrack. Oh, Allison caught in that one as well. Talon Pelfrey, he also got some damage there from that one. As you can see, Dinsmore just shades down, gets in the right rear of the 31 car, turns him in the outside wall. Oh man, got a feel for Brad Carpenter.
So we are going to try to get this thing going quickly as we're right up against our time limit here. Dylan Canova going to take us back to green flag racing in this B main, looking for 5 drivers to move on right now. Canova is off and away to Santos in that second spot, and here comes Joyner underneath the 81, going to take a peek into turn 1, not able to get there. Now Rube might give him the room. It's a really tough battle here for that third spot.
Rube going to get a good run down the back straightaway. Just needs to get a good entry into turn number 3. He will do so. Here comes Joyner back to the bumper. Almost gets into the 81 car. Doesn't. They'll stay single file down the front straightaway.
Dylan Canova is checking out to a nice, comfortable lead. DeSantis running second. This is the battle right here between Rick Rube and Ryan Joyner. Behind them, Austin Benson holds on to the 5th and final transfer. JJ Chansey in the 2 car. He is on the outside looking in. He needs one more place if he wants to race in the feature event tonight.
Austin Benson in 5th behind Ryan Joyner. Joyner going to give Rick Rube a shot. And Austin Benson gets sideways through turns 1 and 2. That'll give JJ Chansey an opportunity to go by. Chansey into the 5th spot in the final transfer.
JJ is in the race if it finishes this way, but they got some guys racing hard in front of him. That's Joyner and Rick Rube. They are battling side by side. Joyner is going to take that spot away. Rick Rube now into the 4th spot. Chansey still running 5th. He's got a gap back to Austin Benson, who's kind of fallen off now. The 77 might be in trouble here.
Austin Benson up the racetrack. He took damage when Ronald Cole got into that outside wall. We saw it land on his hood, and now he's going to make contact with Noah Allison. Now Allison is in the slide for life. He's going to go all the way to the outside wall. That's the second car we've seen slide through the infield.
We are staying green, and that is going to end our race. They're going to come back and see the checkered flag right now. Dylan Canova hits that time limit. Canova moves on. DeSantis, Ryan Joyner, Rick Rube, JJ Chansey.
I think Rube was pretty unhappy with how Ryan Joyner raced him while they were all in a transfer spot. I think he let him know afterwards, just kind of might have given him a shot. Here again, going to talk to the 15. You can see him down the back straightaway. I mean, you got to feel a certain way, Jeff, when you're in the transfer.
Yeah, I mean, that was a wild B main there. The first one, we kind of clicked that off really quickly. Second one, it was a bit of a marathon, but we've got our 26 drivers in our feature event tonight.
Everybody piling on to the racetrack. Those drivers that qualified directly into the A main had to sit for all that time waiting for those races to end. So now they're just going to get about 2 minutes to get their rhythm back down just a little bit. See a chance to get back out there, get a little bit warmed up because you've got 125 laps tonight in the Wet Willy 125. Big thanks to Wet Willy House Twitch streamer, twitch.tv/Wet Willy 19. Go check him out. We haven't seen Willy this. Was he here last week, Jeff? I don't think we've seen Willy this season.
No, we haven't seen him yet. Hopefully, at some point, Willy will come back and race with us a little bit.
I'm pretty sure he's down in Charlotte right now at the Legends race. I think he went down to the summer shootout, and that's why we haven't seen Willy. I think he's been spending a lot of time working on real race cars.
Well, and I want to talk about the points a little bit. And I know it's only week 2. It's really early to be talking about it, but we only have 9 races before the chase starts. Our second place driver in points, Garrett Pick, not here tonight. Third place driver in points entering tonight, Elliot Carlson. He did not make the feature event, so I mean that is going to mix things up quite a bit. Ronald Cole as well. He comes into this race 6th in points, did not make the main event. Craig Tolley looked in 9th. He has an opportunity to move up right now. He's got some guys in front of him. Ryan Joyner, JJ Chansey, they all made it, kind of hanging in that top 10 right now. So a lot of opportunities for these top 10 spots, top 8 spots in the standings to kind of mix up. Remember, top 8 going to race for the championship. So if you're Craig Tolley, JJ Chansey, those guys just on the outside looking in, that's a nice start. You get yourself some solid points just by being involved in the feature event tonight.
Hey, you definitely want to make A mains, right? But those guys in the B mains, they still score points. So they need to be here. They need to run the B main, and they'll get points for that. But quickest car in warm-ups, Jeff, and maybe he's challenging a little bit of anger that we saw at the end of the B main, but Rick Rube was the quickest car in that warm-up session.
Well, we are going to get set to go green flag racing for tonight's Wet Willy 125. And Bill, we had a big invert tonight. It is a 9 invert, going to send Timmy Holmes back into the 5th row. So on your pole tonight, the number 8 car, it is James Seawright, but he has an EOL penalty to start the night, so he's going to lose that pole, go all the way to the rear of the field on the outside front row to start tonight. He will start there, the 72 of Bladen Edwards.
Starting in the 3rd position, the 07, that is Kyle Martinson, and to his outside in the number 3, that's Latham Joyner. Starting 5th in the 85, it is Lee Norton, and starting outside of him in the 6th position, it is the 05. We saw him lead most of the race last week before some late troubles. It's Caleb Hall.
Starting 7th tonight in the 83 car, it'll be Chris Roma on the outside of him. In the 167, it's Aaron Plemons.
Starting in the 9th position in the 67 car, that is your Quick Time Award winner for the Wisconsin Wings and Walleyes. Quick Time Award winner for the 2nd week in a row. That is Timmy Holmes. And to his outside in the 20, just missed the invert, that's Ricky Howell Jr.
Starting 11th tonight will be the 50 of Craig Tolley on the outside of him. In the 60 car, that's Sean English.
Starting in the 13th position in the 87 machine, that is AJ Rogers. And to his outside, coming off a great run last week in the 55, that is Josh Parrish.
Starting 15th in the 117, he's returning to the late model shootout racing here at ITZR. The 117 of Tad Douglas on the outside of him, scheduled to start 16th, will be the 83 of Chase Johnson.
Starting in 17th position, last week's winner in the number 2, that is Josh Kosick. And to his outside, you just saw him win one of the B mains in the 70, that's Dylan Canova.
Starting 19th in the 54 will be Jackson Crowder on the outside of him. In the 27, it's AJ DeSantis.
Starting 21st in the 42, it's Super Zach Onen. And to his outside in the number 15, it's actually the 25 in the program, it's Ryan Joyner.
Starting in the 23rd position in the 15 will be Connor Jones on the outside of him. The ravishing one, Rick Rube, will start 24th.
Starting 25th, we saw him sneak into the A main event on a last corner pass. It is the 17 car of Reagan Parent. And to his outside, the final starter in tonight's A main event, it is the number 2 machine, that's JJ Chansey.
Well, Bill, we are set to go for 125 laps here at Stafford. As we said, James Seawright, he was scheduled to be on the pole. Penalty from last week. It'll send him to the rear of the field. That moves up Kyle Martinson to the pole. And the last time the series raced here at Stafford, Kyle Martinson finished 2nd to the eventual race winner. So Kyle Martinson kind of was one of those guys in the preview that we said could have a chance to win. And look at that. He's going to move right up to the pole for tonight's feature event.
Well, Jeff, I know it's probably the hardest pick in all of motorsports, but do you have any idea who could possibly win this race tonight?
Well, you know,
it's gonna be tough.
You know what we say, we hate to pick from the front row, so I'm going to dig deep into this field here and looking at that 83 car of Chris Roma. He was so fast in practice, had a great qualifying effort. He's starting on the inside line. I like that. I'm going to go with the 83, Chris Roma.
Wow. That's not fair. You know what? I'm going to go starting in the 6th position, the 05. He almost won last week. I think he's due. He deserves one. Caleb Hall.
That is a good pick as well, Caleb. He was so close last week to picking up a win. Got turned around late in the race at Nashville. He was so disappointed, kind of heartbroken because he was so close to picking up a win. And he's going to try again tonight, starting in a great spot, 6th position. A lot of speed there in that 05.
Butterflies time, Jeff. It's time to get excited. Pull the belts tight one last time, especially us, because after last week I think my head hurt. But 26 cars on the Stafford Motor Speedway. Kyle Martinson ready to lead him to the green flag.
Pace cars off the racetrack. Martinson gets to set the pace. He's got Bladen Edwards on the outside in the 72. Martinson is off and away. We are racing in the Wet Willy 125. Edwards got a nice jump ahead of the 85 of Lee Norton. He'll slot right into the 2nd spot. They are a single file back to about 7th position, where Timmy Holmes is battling with the 67 of Plemons, and he is clear, but Plemons going to over under him, try to get underneath the 67 of Timmy Holmes.
So they will be single file. Plemons there is both those were two fast cars. We got trouble on the front straightaway. Josh Parrish, he's not around. Hang on, I think it's Zach Onen's got problems down in the infield. Is Zach Onen? He's stuck on a drain. All right, he's going to get it righted, and I think we stay green.
Yeah, we are going to stay green flag racing as the 07 Kyle Martin is checked out to a nice comfortable lead, about half a second over Bladen Edwards. So the 07 just fired off to an early lead. Bladen running second, but we saw it last night. Alex McCollum, he ran away early in that race. The guys with save their tires, they caught him at the end. So it's a bold strategy to try to run away, hope for green flag runs, but if you don't save a little something at the end, those guys had a lot of speed towards the end of the race when they saved tires.
Looking in the middle of the field, Jeff, Ricky Howell was battling with Josh Kosick for about the 15th, 16th position. Actually making 13th, and Howell got up into the wall on the front straightaway, so big damage to the 20 on the right-hand side. He's fallen back now to the 17th position. Rick Rube looking to get around him. We'll go back up front where you were talking about Kyle Martinson trying to run away and hide. Bladen Edwards not going to let that happen. You see the whole field stringing out just a little bit.
Dylan Canova trying to move forward. He is currently in the 16th spot. He is underneath the 55 of Josh Parrish. So Canova, he started in the 18th spot, one of the B main winners. A lot of speed in that 70, so he's going to start moving on early. And ahead of them, Kosick just got around Tad Douglas. He's going to bring Jackson Crowder in the 54 along with him.
Big string of cars down the back straightaway. All these guys staying nose to tail. Jeff, you talked about tire wear. We saw it last night. Long green flag runs these guys started to see, or the guys last night started to see as we watch Aaron Plemons pop out. He's going to get underneath Timmy Holmes, almost gets to the left rear, makes contact, but doesn't. 267 cars battling as Plemons going to be sideways off of turn 2 as he avoided the 67 car of Holmes.
Yeah, Plemons really put the pressure. Yeah, trouble there off turn 4. Timmy Holmes kind of got moved out of the way. A little contact from Plemons, and that's going to put Holmes up the racetrack. There comes A.J. Rogers. He's going to try to take advantage, and the 67 Holmes going to try to shut the door. I think he's going to be clear into 3. Can he pull it down the racetrack? He does. So your quick qualifier, Timmy Holmes, he lost the spot there to Plemons, but able to hold on. It could have been a lot worse if he got shuffled out on the outside line.
Yeah, that was an interesting situation. Plemons had gotten inside of the 67, and Holmes just kept shutting the door, and Plemons just eventually said, nah, I'm not going to let you do it, and got into left rear quarter. Not hard, and Holmes did a great job handling that car. But that was an interesting way to watch that happen. Is that could have been much, much worse.
Caution is out. And I think something might have happened with the 15 of Connor Jones and the 15 of Ryan Joyner. And going into turn 3, Connor Jones, Bill, I'm thinking this is going to be a see car, don't hit car situation there.
Take a look, so we can get a replay of those two cars.
While we're looking at the replay, shout out to Caden hanging out in the chat. Dell cheering for Kyle. I believe he's cheering for Kyle Martinson. Joe cheering for AJ DeSantis. So if you're hanging out with the chat with us, make sure you give us a like and a share, and let us know who you're cheering for.
Oh my goodness. Chase, we saw a little bit of action happening there. Oh yeah. Connor Jones just shipped Ryan Joyner going into turn number 3.
So I was listening to the driver chat there, and I heard Ryan Joyner in the 15, the yellow and blue one that got hit. He mentioned that, hey, I wasn't even the one that hit Connor. So I think he thinks that might have been payback for something that happened earlier.
It was. We watched it happen, Jeff. In 1 and 2, Chase Johnson got into the back of Connor Jones, sent him up the racetrack, and went by him. And then when Connor Jones, 2 cars went by so fast, I think Connor Jones thought it was Ryan Joyner that did it, so he shipped him going into turn 3, brought out the yellow.
Yeah, and Ryan was a little frustrated because he was just saying, hey, I wasn't the one that did it, and he was the one that got turned around. And so Connor Jones going to go to the rear of the field. Ryan Joyner was able to hold on, so he's going to keep his spot at least, but not something you want to do to the tires there. That's a rough start on the tires here early on in this one. Caden here cheering Timmy Holmes and Caleb Hall, I believe. And Bill, under this caution, we lost James Seawright. He was one of those guys that had a penalty start at the rear of the field. He just had a connection issue. So basically a mechanical failure for the 8. That's a tough break. Not something you ever want to see where your just internet disconnects you from the server.
It's always a good idea to get back into one of our races, though. The races are so long. There's a possibility, even being many laps down, that you can get your laps back, get back on the lead lap, or just, cars that drop out. Scoring points is a premium here. You never want a what you would call a mechanical failure, just an issue with your connection or your PC, to be your one drop week. So you always want to try to get back in and do the best you possibly can, because there could be worse nights.
Frank Griffith hanging out with us did not make it out of the B main. He is watching the feature here on Facebook. He said 10 more chances to make the show this season. I like that thinking. Just hang in there. You will make one, I'm sure of it. Just got to keep digging. It always starts out tough at the beginning of the season. 40 drivers going for 26 spots. I mean, just to make the show tonight is a win for anybody. This is one of the toughest series on iRacing right now, and you really just have to be on your game every single night if you want to race in these races. And as we say, that double file restart coming for Kyle Martinson, Bladen Edwards on the front row.
Wow, a lot of stuff happening up front. You saw cars beating and banging for the start there. Kyle Martinson waited just a little bit, which he has an absolute right to. You see Lee Norton going to try to make the move on Bladen Edwards. That's a battle for second spot. But that was a really interesting start. We got trouble in the back. You guys see the 55 of Josh Parrish went around. Yellow flag is out.
Yeah, Craig Tolley also got sent through the infield. Might have been some contact with the 60. So multiple incidents going on there. Coming down the back straightaway, these guys just fighting hard.
I think the first one's going to be this incident with Parrish down through 1 and 2. Little cars checking up in front of him. Oh, goodness. Yeah. Craig Tully coming at you into your living room.
Yeah, I think the 55, he got... I'm watching what happened. It looked like the 2 of Kosick. Something happened with him and Crowder going into turn 1. He ended up having to make an evasive maneuver, slowed way down, and that just stacked up all the guys behind him.
Then JJ Chansey ended up on the grass. He's just all over them. He got knocked to the grass, and he's trying to save it. Then he gets back into Parrish, and then Craig Tully comes sliding at you. Look at that! You see him come slide across the infield. See what happened to him. So watch him come off of turn number 4, and whoops! I think he just gets a little hook there. No way the caution would be for the 50 in the grass, and that's unfortunate because Tully, I don't think... He might have been off the wall quite a bit. I think Tully didn't quite apex there. I think the original caution, Jeff, is probably just a racing deal, just a whole lot of mayhem happening.
Yeah, as we said, there was just something happened between the 2 up near the front of the pack, and when he got slowed down, it was between Crowder and Kosick, and when he got slowed down up there on the top side, the guys behind him just nowhere to go. They're all diving into the corner trying to keep the momentum up on the top. That's the only way to really run the top, is really dive it in deep and try to get the momentum built up there. And unfortunately, there was just nowhere to go with the car kind of slowed down in the middle of the groove.
So this one's starting pretty close to what we saw last week, Jeff. Unfortunately, these guys struggling to figure out how to run around each other. Kyle Martinson going to be out front, take the cars to the top side here for this restart. He'll turn the car down and get a nice jump over Lee Norton. Norton's going to get a good jump over Bladen Edwards. Everybody's single file on this single file restart. Take a look to see where the first battle is. Here it is between JJ Chansey and Ryan Joyner. They'll be side by side. They're going to battle for the 16th position.
Sean English just made a pass on Craig Tolley. That's going to bring Jackson Crowder along. That is the battle for 10th on the racetrack as Sean English takes that spot. Crowder into the 11th spot. Now move Craig Tolley back to 12th behind them. Kosick, he is under fire from Dylan Canova. Canova, one of the B main winners, trying to move forward, started 18th. He's up to the 14th spot and still trying to get around the 2 car now.
Yeah, the good news was Craig Tully. Oh, we've got contact in turn number 1. Kosick and Canova got together. That's going to bring out a yellow as AJ DeSantis is involved. And we got cars upside down. The 2 of JJ. We've got 2 turtles. JJ Chansey is upside down and flipped. Ricky Howe flipped in the 20. You can see the tire marks. That's all the cars that smashed into the wall. Ricky Howe looking for somebody to flip him over. Doesn't do it. He'll jump back into the pit area. We'll take a look and see what happened to those guys as they went into turn number 1. I know the original caution was between Kosick and Dylan Canova as they went into the corner. They made contact side to side. Take a look and see what happened there.
Yeah, that was side by side going into turn 1, and to me, it looks like the car on the outside, Josh Kosick, just kind of came down across the front end of the 70 and it kind of initiated that contact there.
We get a better look at our angle. Yeah, I think you're looking at Dylan Canova's left front here. He's diving for that white line and actually gets to it. I think it's possible Kosick might have thought that he was going to go a little bit lower. But Canova, yeah. You can see AJ DeSantis just come in there and smash, and then you got those cars up there. Regan Parent doing a nice job in the 17 weaving around wrecked race cars. I think that one just is a pinch job on the number 2, last week's winner. So again, this one not starting the way we were looking for it to start. I don't think we got a lap in there, Jeff. I don't think that would be a fully completed lap as the caution came out. I don't know if every car made it past the start-finish line.
Well, it looks like scoring's saying we're going to have a double file restart this time, but a lot of cars on pit road repairing damage. DeSantis, one of them. Ricky Howell. I see JJ Chansey down there repairing damage. So we're going to give them a little bit of time here to get repairs done. We have lost James Seawright. Chansey currently running 25th. He is 2 laps down. Ricky Howell 3 laps down now. AJ DeSantis 2 laps down. Looks like Josh Parrish is down on pit road. He is the last car in the lead lap, currently running 22nd. So I think we're going to see the pace car lights come out this time by, and I'll send us back to green flag racing with Kyle Martinson and Lee Norton.
As you can see, the field doubling up. So as Jeff called, it is going to be a double file restart. Lee Norton will go to the outside. That'll put Bladen Edwards there in 3rd to his outside, the 05 of Caleb Hall. Aaron Plemons sitting 5th. Chris Roma on the outside. That's Latham Joyner in the 3. Chris Roma's going to be behind them in 7th. Timmy Holmes running 8th.
So here we go. Going to go back green flag racing. Going to start on lap 30 restart here with Kyle Martinson, Lee Norton on that outside line. Lee Norton got a little sideways coming to the green. That's going to open up the door for Bladen Edwards. Edwards to the bottom. Norton got a great run up on the top side. He might clear Bladen coming down the back straightaway. He does. So keep Lee Norton in the 2nd spot. Bladen Edwards, Caleb Hall. That's your pick of the 05, Bill. He's moving up on the outside.
I'm not cheering. Oh, Bladen Edwards a little bit sideways off of turn 4. That's going to cause problems. Now we've got Plemons. Plemons, smart move by the 67 cars. He backed out of that. Did everyone see that? I hope everyone did. That's what you do is now Bladen Edwards might have gotten into the back of Caleb Hall. They make contact off of turn number 2. Side by side into turn number 3. Now Plemons is to the outside. I really like what Plemons did there, Jeff. He thought better of the 3-wide action, even though it wasn't going to be to his benefit to stay up high. Now he's trying to get back to the bottom, single file down into turn number 1.
Yeah, and that's what we call give and take. Sometimes you just got to give a little, live to race another day, and that's what he did. I mean, it's better than having your race end in a wreck right now on lap 32, so he just did what he needed to do, keep that car alive, and he's going to continue on racing in the 5th position right now.
Boy, we've got a hornet's nest in the middle of this field. Chris Roma's having issues in the 83 car. He is stuck on the outside. We saw him start 7th, ended up getting knocked up off the bottom, or just moved up off the bottom. He's falling back all the way to the 11th spot, even farther back. Got Chase Johnson. He's on the bottom run 16th. He's sideways underneath Craig Tully. And then you got Dylan Canova's there as well. Rick Rube's on the high side. He's got Regan Parent to the bottom.
And Aaron Clemens just got underneath the 72 of Bladen Edwards, so he's going to try to take that 4th spot back. And now Edwards up the racetrack. That's going to open up the door for Latham Joyner and the 3 Joyner. Maybe a little contact coming off turn 4. He's going to get back to the door of the 72. He's bringing Timmy Holmes, and Bladen Edwards kind of in that bad spot. The train is starting to line up on the inside line, and he needs to find a gap.
You can see everybody pushing just a little bit off of turn 4. A lot of contact being made onto the front straightaway. Yes, this car does push off of turn 4. It always does, unless you have a very, very loose setup. And now we've got Crowder. He's having issues in the 54.
What
I think he saved it, but the yellow did come out, and now he's going to get into Chris Roma. That might have been a little net code as they're 3 wide coming off turn 2.
Yeah, what a save going into turn 1 for Crowder. That did end up causing the caution. So somebody's going to go to the rear of the field for that, and we're going to have to take a look at it because it did cause a caution, but Crowder did a fantastic job to hold on to that car.
Crowder down into turn number 1. Well, the 60 car taking a shot from a bit back. Kids, that's what we call C car don't hit car. Yes, you feel like you have a run, you don't really, and you just get in the guy's left rear.
And sometimes we like to call those dive bombs, where you're about half a car length back down the straightaway, and you try to throw it in there going into the corner, try to get the guy to give you room. And unfortunately for the 60, the 54 did not give him anything.
Ooh,
and
what a save.
It's his responsibility to make sure you pass without making contact. And so Jackson Crowder did a heck of a job to hold on to it, but the 60 car, Sean English, is going to go to the rear of the field for that one.
Let's see that one again. Let's watch Crowder. Look at that. That's like a dirt car right there. Good stuff. Boy, he had that crank to the right like he was drifting. That was a beautiful save. And then kind of forgot about where he was and drove back down on some other cars. Everything's okay, though. And I think Crowder didn't get a whole lot of damage, if any, from that. So unfortunately, Sean English going to go to the back in that 60 machine, battling up front. Didn't present that he was even trying to make the pass there, just kind of drove to the bottom. Like you said, Jeff, I think that's a really important fact you were mentioning. It's his responsibility to pass the car in front of him without any contact in that situation. I mean, not without any, we don't say without any contact, but you want to spin the guy and bring out the yellow, right?
Yeah, exactly. If it triggers the caution, it was a little too much, and as you saw, Jackson Crowder, he was dead sideways. It was a heck of a save on his part. I mean, even the flagman thought he was wrecked. So the 54 did a fantastic job to hold on to it. He's going to get to keep a spot at least, hold on to the 10th position in the 54. But we are double file, ready to go back green flag racing. Kyle Martinson, Lee Norton once again on that front row. Caleb Hall, Aaron Clemens in that second row, and back there in the fifth spot, Latham Joyner with Timmy Holmes, your quick qualifier in that third row outside. Here we go, pace cars off. Kyle Martinson takes this green flag racing. Another fantastic restart for him. Here comes Caleb Hall. He's got position underneath the 85 into turn 1.
Caleb Hall making moves in the 05. He's going to look underneath Lee Norton coming off of turn 2 as they get close. Almost made contact on the back straightaway. Caleb Hall making the move. He's going to try to move up in his second spot. He's going to try to tow Aaron Clemens here as Lee Norton gets really close to the outside wall coming off turn 4. Lee Norton, he goes from bad to worse. There you see that, Jeff. He went way up the track in turns 1 and 2. Now he's going to drop way back. 85 cars dropped all the way back. Was just in second. Now he's running 6th. Now he's got Bladen Edwards, who was just up there in the top 5. He's looking underneath the 85 car, but can't make the move into turn 1.
Yeah, Lee finally gets his way to the bottom. We got trouble further back. They are 3 wide. I saw the 50 at Craig Tooley, the 54 at Crowder, the 17 at AJ Rogers, 3 wide. They sorted it out, continue on, but that is a battle around 11th on the racetrack, and it is an absolute hornet's nest of cars right there racing hard. You see Reagan Parent in the 17. He made some contact, and now a little more contact with the 15 of Connor Jones.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in the middle of this field. Connor Jones got a lot of damage on the front end of his number 15. Reagan Parent does as well in the 17 car. They've been into some cars tonight. Dylan Canova on the bottom in the 70, trying to work by the 15 of Connor Jones.
Craig Tooley and AJ Rogers, they are having a battle right now for the 11th or 12th position rather. Tolley in the 50, AJ Rogers in the 17 on the outside, and now the 83, Chase Johnson sideways further back. I saw a little contact there with the 15 of Connor Jones. He held on to it, gonna keep that spot. Now the 15 kind of gets into him again.
Wow, Connor Jones. We're going to start calling him Mike Tyson. He's hitting a lot of stuff out here. Look at the front end of that car. It's almost gone.
Parrish throws it in there on the 15, and now the 15, Connor Jones up the racetrack once again. He just got that spot. Now he might be at risk of losing it once again.
Josh Parrish to the bottom. Connor Jones slides it off at turn 2. A lot of cars battling right here. Connor Jones drives down to the door. Josh Parrish. Parrish clears him going through 3 and 4. Here comes Kosick to the inside, and now Connor Jones in the wall once again.
Reagan Parent and the 50 of Craig Tolley just got together into turn 1, and caution is going to wait for that incident further back.
It was the 15 of Connor Jones. We watched it live. He may or may not have been shipped there. Boy, Connor Jones had been... Well, he should be sponsored by Tums, because he was giving everybody heartburn through the middle of that field.
I think Connor got up the racetrack, got a little loose on the outside, and about half straightaway just could not. He got up on the wall, and just half straightaway that car took off on him, and he ended up clipping the outside wall with a ton of force.
Oh yeah, gets up the wall. Oh my goodness. You can see. Ugh. This is a real car, Jeff. That thing might be junk.
Yeah, that is a tough start for the 15 of Connor Jones. He has been involved in a lot already. Just lap 50 of this 125 lapper. Still on the lead lap right now, running in the 22nd position. AJ DeSantis going to get a lucky dog, the 27 car. He is 1 lap down. Going to be back on the lead lap in the 23rd spot.
DeSantis cycling by the field on the top side. And has a little bit of a connection issue, but we're good. Let's take a look at our top 10. Kyle Martinson in the 07 continues to lead. Caleb Hall has moved up to the 2nd spot in the 05. Aaron Plemons up to 3rd in the 67. We saw that battle earlier, that Plemons was following Caleb Hall through some cars, through some doors there. Latham Joyner running 4th. Timmy Holmes, he's in the 5th position now in the 67. Lee Norton slipped back from his 2nd running spot to 6th. Chris Roma rallying back. We saw him outside the top 10 just a little while ago. He's back up to 7th. Bladen Edwards falling back to 8th. Ryan Joyner running 9th. Ryan Joyner came out of a B main, Jeff. He's all the way up to the 9th spot. Zach Owen, Super Zach, doing a good job. He came out of a B main as well. He's up to the 10th spot.
Yeah, Ryan Joyner was scheduled to start 22nd. He was even worse because he had an EOL to start the night. So he'll officially get credit for starting 22nd, and right now would be the hard charger on the racetrack, I believe. So a fantastic job for the 15 car. It's got a little damage on the nose, but not too bad. And the 42 car behind him, Zach Onan, that thing is clean. So Zach's been doing a fantastic job getting through traffic, getting through some mayhem there in the middle of the field.
Isn't that an Allstate commercial?
Yeah, it is mayhem.
Wonder if they could use us, like just have the Allstate guy walking through the field here in the Late Model Challenger Series, and just all the cars crashing around him.
I don't know if that's what we want to be known for.
Okay,
in the
you're probably true.
World, but
it might give us a good boost in funds, though. I mean,
well, if County Road Custom ever wants to give up their sponsorship, we'll
no,
Allstate.
No, Allstate's just a secondary sponsor. That's yeah.
Well, here we go. Kyle Martinson, Caleb Hall on that front row for this restart. Lap 53. Martinson off on the loud pedal once again. Caleb Hall got a great restart. He is door-to-door with Kyle Martinson going into turn 1. We've seen Hall use the outside. Now Bladen Edwards is spinning into turn 1.
Yellow flag is out. We had a battle for the lead. Not able to watch as we check to see what happened in the 72 car. Bladen Edwards. Tad Douglas is around in the 117. JJ Chansey caught up as well. Whew.
So we're going to get a look at this one. What caused this restart caution? And there might have been a little contact with the 83 of Chris Roma and the 72 of Bladen Edwards.
I mean, if he was clear by a whisker.
Well, Bladen did say over the radio, I was clear and I got driven over. But looking at the replay, I mean, that from the 83's point of view,
County Road Custom Chopper Cam time, Jeff.
I just don't see how Chris Roma could have even seen the 72 coming down the racetrack there.
Well, you know what? Thank goodness for the magic of technology. We can see exactly what Chris Roma saw. Here we go, folks, off of turn 4 in Chris Roma's view. Edwards just out there, and yeah. The question is, what would you do, folks? Pretty sure I'd keep my foot in it, Jeff. I'm pretty sure I would keep my foot in it.
I don't think the 83 really did anything wrong there. The 72 just wasn't quite clear going into turn 1 yet.
I'm a pretty nice guy, Jeff. And I think I'm probably spinning Bladen there as well. I'm sorry, Bladen. But it's a restart, buddy. And I know you need to get to the bottom, but you have to be clear, not just like, hey, I'm almost here clear. It probably said clear. I mean, it's possible. But as soon as it said clear, it went clear car inside. And then you were getting hit, you know what I mean? That's a tough one.
So, Bill, we kind of missed that because the caution came out so early. Caleb Hall was ahead of the 07 of Kyle Martinson. He's going to be scored the race leader now. So that was a huge break for Caleb Hall. And we know how tough it is to pass here. And he made it work on the outside, was ahead just enough to get credit, and now he gets a single file restart.
I think it was through turns 1 and 2. He had just gone into the outside and kind of slung it in there pretty hard, and Martinson was running the bottom doing exactly what he needed to do, and coming off the corner, he probably would have gotten the advantage, but the yellow comes out, and Caleb Hall has scored the leader. And that's going to be brutal. Caleb Hall showed speed. He was qualifying faster than these drivers, and we'll see what Martinson can do, what he can do to rally as we see Caleb Hall going to take the green flag.
Caleb Hall, now your race leader, first time on the restart, and he is off and away. Latham Joyner already putting the pressure on Kyle Martinson in the 3-car. Aaron Plemons behind them in the 67. You got Lee Norton back in the 5th spot. Lee had kind of fallen back a little bit. He's working his way forward now. He was running second early on, got shuffled out of the way, and now he's got to climb his way back. And behind them, Ryan Joyner and the 83 of Chris Roma, they are battling hard for position. Here comes Jackson Crowder in the 54. They make contact. Roma nearly spins. He holds on, but he's going to lose a ton of spots.
I was driving right there. Chris Roma doing a great job in the 83, but he's going to lose a bunch of spots. Here comes Dylan Canova in the 17. I'm sorry, the 70. The 17 of Reagan Parent has already gone by. Craig Tully's gone by. He's going to be side by side with Canova. So Chris Roma, damage control right now.
Yeah, Roma up the racetrack, loses that spot to the 70 of Canova. Here comes AJ Rogers. Now Roma is all the way back into the 13th position and still fading on the outside. Timmy Holmes, he's taking a look underneath the 85 of Lee Norton. That is a battle for 5th. And now Plemons underneath Latham Joyner. The 67 just kind of sailed her off in there into turn 1, got the position. Joyner had to give it up. Here comes Lee Norton. Norton wants the spot as well.
Norton to the inside of Latham Joyner. Good battling within the top 5. Here comes Lee Norton. He's rallying after getting shipped back a little bit earlier. Here comes Timmy Holmes in the 67. He'll follow Lee Norton through that door. Latham Joyner will slot back in.
Yeah, Joyner, I think, just kind of got out of the throttle on the outside, just said it isn't worth it, just dropped behind the 67. Caution is going to wave now, trouble further back in the field. We're going to try to get a look at that one. And I think Connor Jones, Connor Jones around in the 15.
Let's find out what happened to Connor. He has had a lot of issues tonight, and I don't think this one was really his fault, Jeff.
No, and this is probably another C-car, don't hit car situation as Ricky Howell gets off into the turn 1, gets into the 15, and he hit him pretty hard.
Oh, my goodness. Heads up, JJ Chiefs. Oh, AJ DeSantis just got his lap back. Well, Connor Jones, that's not good going into turn number 1. We've seen him involved in a lot of mayhem.
Yeah, that 15 car is looking pretty rough right about now. JJ Chansey going to pick up a lucky dog. He is currently 3 laps down, but going to get one of those back now. Still running in the 24th position, trying to do his best. The interesting part about that, Bill, we just saw that contact with the 15 of Connor Jones and Ricky Howell. Ricky Howell is 3 laps down. They weren't even racing for position.
Yeah, I mean, there's clearly there's baggage, some luggage here. There's
yeah, that's a good way to put it.
These trunks are filled with a bunch of clothes and golf clubs and all kinds of stuff, and they've brought it here to In the Zone Racing. And well, guess what we do to that kind of stuff, Jeff?
We hand out penalties like candy.
Like candy.
I mean, we did this week. If you ever want to see what the penalties look like after a race, go check out the penalty box on our website. It was pretty gnarly after last week.
And if the penalties aren't enough to stop you from using your baggage and your luggage and things like that, we'll actually send you on a trip.
Yeah, we've done it before. So you got to race clean. You got to be respectful. You got to have some give and take, or you just won't be racing very long here at ITZR. Pace cars off the racetrack. Caleb Hall going to take a green flag racing once again with the 07 Kyle Martinson on the outside. Hall is off and away, clear of the 07 into turn 1 by a couple car lengths.
Oh, and Kyle Martinson got a shot from Lee Norton. That's going to send him sideways. That's going to bring out the yellow. I believe Craig Tully's caught in that as well. Reagan Parent, Rick Rube's in the wall. Cars are not slowing down behind this, by the way. There's just a lot of crashing happening after the yellow, but that happened inside your top 5. I'm pretty sure Kyle Martinson got shipped by the 85 car.
Yeah, and that is a heartbreaker for Kyle Martinson. He had a bad week last week, got taken out pretty early, and unfortunately, was leading some races, or leading the race at one point, running in the second spot, and he just got turned around going into turn 1, contact from Lee Norton. And again, just a see car, don't hit car situation.
Oh my. You see, Craig Tully had to stop there, did a great job, and everybody's kind of weaving around, okay, Wascowee Wabbit, but around this wreck, Rick Rube, Rick Rube avoids it, but the guys below him, Josh Kosick gets really sideways trying to avoid the wreck, and I think he bounced off of Josh Parrish and went back up into Rick Rube, and Rick Rube ends up just smashed up on the Armco barriers. And then Kyle Martinson says, "Why are you wrecked? I'm the one that..." Okay.
Well, but we talked about in the race preview that this track is a little bit different than some of the the Challenger Series race is a little bit different here than the Late Model Shootout Series. The average here has been 12 cautions. Late Model Shootout Series, it was only 5, and we went 1 caution last night, and I believe we're at 8 right now, or 7 right now. So kind of seeing the same thing. We've been seeing history just kind of repeats itself.
History. This one's tough. I'm getting... We take a lot of pride in this, Jeff, and we kind of... I just made it a hint to people taking a trip and maybe having to, find some other places to hone their skills. But we take a lot of pride in this series. There's not a lot of places you can get into 40-car super late model fields and try to do your best. And plus, I feel like we're one of the few series that actually feels like a Saturday night race night where 40 cars show up at the racetrack. You all try to qualify in. You go to B mains. You try to transfer into the A main. Then you run a giant A main. A lot of other places will split you into a bunch of different splits and everybody gets a trophy. You know what I mean? So this feels more exciting to me. Plus, we give a payout to these guys. Champion last year won $150 in this series. So I feel like you'd want to be here, Jeff. And when you're here, you'd want to make a good showing of it. Maybe that's just me. We watch Caleb Hall circulate around under caution again. Aaron Plemons going to be second in that 67 car. Timmy Holmes, the second 67, he's running third. Ryan Joyner's up to fourth. And Latham Joyner, no relation. No, the spelling is different. He's running fifth.
Here we go, Caleb Hall, single file restart. That time we did not complete a lap. He got a great restart. He's got 3 car lengths over Clemens at the start finish line. Timmy Holmes, your quick qualifier. He's up into the 3rd spot. Still a clean race car in the 67. He's avoided a lot of the drama and chaos tonight. The 15, Ryan Joyner running 4th. Latham Joyner 5th. A little bit of gap back to Jackson Crowder. Zach Onen, he has done a fantastic job getting through the field as well in the 42. He is running in the 7th position. Reagan Parent 8th. Dylan Canova 9th. AJ Rogers in the 10th spot.
Oh, look now, but Sean English, he had an EOL early in this race. He's up to 11th in that 60 car.
And Timmy Holmes just got big time sideways coming off turn 4. And look at Clemens. He has just caught the 05. He is now putting the pressure on him. He is all over the back bumper of the 05 of Caleb Hall. Takes a peek in the 3, thinks better of it for the time being. But Clemens showing a ton of speed now in that 67 car.
The price of poker is probably going up, Jeff. Not that we've ever noticed that it was cheap or inexpensive. Oh, and I hear some screeching. That usually means bad things.
Zach Onen is around into turn 1. I see Connor Jones around. That's a separate incident. I believe what triggered the yellow was the 42 getting turned around going into turn 1.
Onen was up in the top 10. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We have a saying around here, Jeff.
Yeah, it's the C car don't head car situation. The 17 Regan Parent, he took a look underneath Zach Onen. It just wasn't going to be there. And then he just didn't get on the brakes enough. He really just kind of tagged the 42 right in the back bumper, and that was enough to send Zach Onen around.
And to his credit, I think he lifted.
Yeah, it just wasn't enough.
Too much momentum.
He backed out of it. He thought about it. He backed out of it, and then he just couldn't get it loaded up enough and just hit the 42 square in the bumper.
And Onen, lucky for him, well, you say lucky as he was spun, but kept his car locked down, sitting on top of the racetrack. Nobody hit him. So he won't have any more damage than the little bit of scrapes and bruises that car already has.
And I was looking at that other incident when having Connor Jones got into the front straightaway wall. A completely separate incident. The caution was already out before he started crashing. But that's what happened with the 15 of Connor Jones. He got the outside wall a ton, spun that car down into the grass, slid through the infield a bit, and he's going to continue on. Still tons of damage to that car.
A lot of chatter happening in the race chat here on Facebook. Kyle Wade in here. He's talking to Brett Suggs. Caden Richardson is here as well. Trevor Edwards, we heard about him last week. He was credited for helping Dustin Mombercat get his racecraft in order in the late model shootout series race at Nashville. So big shout out to Trevor Edwards. He was in the server watching. Don't know if he still is. This might be a little bit tough to sit through, Jeff, as we are doing a whole lot of pace car racing.
You see Kyle Wade in the chat as well, hanging out with us. Again, if you're in the chat, leave us a comment. Let us know who you're cheering for. Give us a like. Make sure you like the stream. Give us a share if you can. We appreciate it. Helps us out a ton. Gets the word out there about ITZR. Remember, check us out on Monday nights. Tuesday nights, our Challenger Series. This is our development series. The goal of these guys is try to earn their way into Monday nights. And right now, we're seeing some names starting to emerge. Caleb Hall, he's been running fantastic lately. And that 05 car, Aaron Plemons having a fantastic run tonight. Timmy Holmes, I mean, that's, I believe, 2 nights in a row. He's been, or 2 weeks in a row, right? He's been quick time.
Yeah, Timmy Holmes very fast. Aaron Plemons, got to give him a shout out. He's been doing a great job. He did look inside of Caleb Hall on the last restart, going down into turn number 3 right before that caution came out, but thought better of it. But this is going to be an exciting finish. Hopefully we get some green flag racing if those guys have finished running into each other there in the back.
Well, pace car is off the racetrack. Caleb Hall, Aaron Plemons on that front row, going to send us green flag racing once again. Hall back on the loud pedal. He got a great restart. Plemons did not. Plemons off the pace down the front straightaway. That's going to let Ryan Joyner get down to his inside.
Joyner going to shoot by down the back straightaway. Plemons just was sleeping. Oh boy, as he's going to go to the apron to try to get inside of Joyner. It does. He'll make contact. Joyner going to save it. Joyner's not going to like that. I guarantee it. I would never want to get past on the apron in turn 3.
Joyner going to give him a little shot, but he is stuck on the outside as Latham Joyner is there underneath him. Caution, going to wave trouble further back in the field. And I see Rick Rube around, Tad Douglas, Regan Parent, AJ DeSantis involved, and kind of a big trouble there further back in the field.
My goodness. All right, I think this one starts with Rick Rube. As boy, oh boy. Again, guy on the outside. Here's clear. I think it's similar to they're side by side. Rick just dove down in front of Tad Douglas. Again, we saw this earlier. I don't know if there's anything Tad can do there.
And Connor Jones, I mean, he's just been involved in everything. He had nothing to do with that. Tried to go around the outside and just gets clipped and just plows into the wall. It's just been a horrendous night for Connor Jones.
We'll do as we did earlier. I'm not sure. I mean, guys are just diving to the bottom. I mean, it's not that important to get to the bottom in 1 and 2. 3 and 4, yes. Well, let's take a look at Tad's cockpit view as we come off of turn number 4. You can see Rick Rube outside of him there. There's absolutely nothing Tad Douglas can do there.
No, absolutely not. Rick just tried to make an aggressive move to the bottom. Almost had it. I mean, he was almost clear, but it just was too early on the straightaway there. And unfortunately for Tad, he got collected in that as well. He collected a couple other cars. DeSantis as well involved in that one. And again, Connor Jones just taking a beating right now in that 15.
Connor Jones rolling around in that 17th position. I'll take a look at that 15 car. We have talked about how strong the back bumper of this super late model is. We've seen cars making contact with it. Connor Jones actually has massive damage to the back end of his late model. I mean, I have not seen a car that beat up probably ever. That car is really hammered. He's turned that into a mini stock out here.
Brett Suggs was asking if we get incident point update on the 15, and that's something these guys got to be careful. We do have like kind of a cap on the incident points of what you can score in one race. We had some guys really racked up some points last week, are already kind of on probation, so it's something to be concerned about for a lot of them. You got to make sure you're racing clean, even if you're in the back getting involved in a lot of this stuff. You got to do your best to stay out of it.
Yeah, this is 2 weeks in a row that we've played quite a bit of bumper cars, unfortunately. And the bad news is the guys up front, they're begging to put on a show. I think Caleb Hall, Timmy Holmes, Aaron Plemons, Ryan Joyner, Latham Joyner. I mean, I think that would be a great race by the guys up from. Jackson Crowder's made his way forward. He's up to 6th. Canova won one of our B mains. He's up to 7th. I mean, these guys are begging, please let me just race this out. And about 10th on back, we just cannot stop hitting each other. And it's all to keep one spot.
Looking at the lineup, Caleb Hall, Timmy Holmes, Aaron Plemons, Ryan Joyner, Latham Joyner now, Jackson Crowder up into the 6th spot. Dylan Canova, he got turned around earlier. He has already fought his way back up to the 7th position. AJ Rogers running 8, Sean Inglis, Chris Roma, your top 10 runners as they stand right now. Caleb Hall, once again, he's got quick qualifier Timmy Holmes on his outside now for this restart. Here we go. Green flag is out once again. And Plemons got a little sideways, it looked like, off turn 4. That might open up the door for Holmes to try to get back in line. Not going to be able to do it. Here comes Plemons, the 67, trying to get past the 67 to Timmy Holmes.
Plemons to the inside. Got to make the move on Timmy Holmes. We've seen these 67 cars battle each other before. Here comes Ryan Joyner in the 15. Latham Joyner's there as well. Here comes Jackson Crowder to the outside of Latham Joyner's. They stacked up on the bottom there. Here comes Dylan Canova in the 70. Everybody's starting to move forward. Good racing up front.
Little trouble going to 3. Now the 54. Jackson Crowder is going to spin. Sean English is involved. Chris Roma caught up in that one as well. And the caution going to wave. Bill, looking at it again, I think it's going to be almost an identical replay to what we've been seeing. Just one car trying to get down the racetrack and not quite being clear.
Take a look as we go. It's just, I mean, he's got the run down the back straightaway. He's about to clear, but I mean, that one was closer to a racing deal for me, because he did get a run on the 70 at Canova. Canova slipped off of turn 2. That's so hard. That one's tight, Jeff.
Yeah, it is. It is close. I mean, the 54, he might have heard clear at some point on the straightaway, but when he lifted, he came down the racetrack as he lifted for the corner, and the 70's already there, and that just all that momentum that Nova had on the bottom. There's nothing he could do to stop that one.
Yeah, there's just no way. We'll take a look at it from Canova's view as we've done before, just to show everybody. If you're in the 70 car, you make your decision. Here we go, off of turn 2. He slips just a little bit. You can see Jackson Crowder out there. He's coming to the moment. There's just nothing you can do there. You're there. I mean, are you supposed to lift and have the entire field run over you? I don't know, because he had cars right on his back bumper. I just think these guys have to understand you just can't clear yourself down to the bottom. You can't do it. It's tough. It's tough. You're going to have to really fly into that corner and make sure that guy doesn't hit you. The guys what they're doing is they're diving to the bottom and then backing up like stopping so that they make sure they're in that spot. It's causing I'm sure we've seen like 3 or 4 of those tonight, and it's causing a bunch of mayhem. And there's just nothing that the guy in the bottom can do. He can't see it happen. Kyle Wade says, where did Joyner start? Joyner was slated to go off 22nd after coming out of the B main. That's Ryan Joyner. And he actually had an EOL from incidents last week. So he started even farther back than that, probably close to 24, 25, 26, somewhere in there. But his official starting spot is 22nd. So he is run from 22nd to 3rd. So 19 spots gained in the 15 car. That is impressive. I would agree with that. He's done it fairly cleanly tonight. Cleanly? You decide.
Yeah, and these battles are up here at the front of the field have been fantastic. Caleb Hall, Aaron Plemons, Ryan Joyner, Timmy Holmes, they are just having an absolute battle up here in the top 5. And if it just wasn't for the guys in the back kind of wrecking a lot, we'd have some fantastic racing up here. But here we go. Caleb Hall going to hold the field up. He is kind of making them wait, and that is going to stack everyone up.
It's going to stack everyone up, and it was probably because Plemons decided to just go without the leader going. And I do think we've got some issues towards the middle, but I think we're going to stay green flag racing.
Timmy Holmes underneath the 15 of Ryan Joyner. Now Holmes going to try to get that spot back. Joyner, now he's stuck on the outside. Here comes Latham Joyner on the inside. Caution is going to wave. Trouble on the front straightaway. Right in front of the leaders.
DeSantis was stopped on the front straightaway. I don't know if he...
That was Latham or AJ DeSantis was just stuck there on the front straightaway from the incident on the start.
I'm very confused on this one. Let's take a look and see what happened to AJ DeSantis. We saw he was back there. Everybody stacked. Zach Oden gets destroyed. Now that one is on Plemons on that start. Plemons jumped the start big time, and Caleb Hall stacked it up because he didn't want to allow it.
And Caleb Hall and Aaron Plemons made heavy contact with DeSantis, who was stopped on the racetrack. There was just nowhere for them to go. And
Plemons especially.
There is going to be big damage to both those cars.
I'm not sure Caleb Hall got as much as Plemons. We're watching the replay. DeSantis he could not figure out how to get that car off the racetrack. He didn't want to back it into the grass and kind of get stuck. So he's just going to sit there, and then he stopped and then pulled back into the racing line. So that... maybe I have to talk to AJ about what he needs to do when the field's coming. That is not what you want to do. You do not want to drive up to where the race cars are coming. But let's take a look at your leaders and see what kind of damage we have. That all started with your leaders and the way that there was games being played up front. Oh boy, Caleb Hall is crab walking. You're right, Jeff. It has knocked the rear end of the 05. That is not going to drive well. Aaron Plemons, also big damage to the right side of the 67 car. And again, this is because these two... I don't really want to blame Caleb Hall on this one. Aaron Plemons played a game there, and it kind of wrecked it for a lot of people. I don't like what happened there. He went early. Caleb Hall saw it. He stopped. And there's nothing you can do. At a real racetrack, they're not going to throw the green flag or you're going to get another yellow. But Caleb Hall knew eventually he would have to go. And everybody's watched Plemons move, and the whole top side is going now. And now Plemons has to stop, and it just causes mayhem. So we have a rule here. We've talked about it before. the leader controls the restart. That time, Aaron Plemons definitely jumping and just driving around him to the outside. We won't go back and watch that replay, but we can see there's tons of damage here. There's just a lot going on.
Yeah, and Caleb Hall, it's just heartbreaking for him. He had a chance to win last week at Nashville. He was leading, got spun on a green-white checkered, and now leading again, in trouble there as he comes down the front straightaway. Car sitting in the middle of the racetrack, and right now the 05 looks heavily damaged. I don't see how he's going to be able to hold on. He's going to do his best, but that is going to be a tough ask for him to hold on to the lead at the 05.
Yeah, this is I'm slightly disgusted at this one, Jeff. That should have never happened. But pace car is off. Let's see what Caleb Hall has got in this 05 car. It is crab walking all over the place. Hopefully he can hang on to it going into turn number 1. He's going to stack the field again. It is his right to do so. And that, you can see what happened. Everybody's just not paying attention to what's going on in front of them. They're just thinking it's time to go, just basically based on what they're used to. Caleb Hall going to bring it around. Boy, oh boy, that car looks awful.
Well, we are green flag racing for Caleb Hall. Aaron Plemons trying to chase down the 05. Caleb Hall's car is just wounded at this point. Here comes Plemons to the inside, going to take a shot, not able to get there. But Caleb Hall going to hold on for the time being. That might open up the door for Timmy Holmes. Holmes got a great run on the back straightaway, took a shot at it. He was not able to get there, so we are still single file racing lap 105. Time is starting to tick away, just 20 laps to go.
Shout out to Caleb Hall for what he's doing right now. I mean, you watch this car come down the back straightaway. It looks like NASCAR from 2015, where the car's just stepped out. That's not good for this car. It doesn't want to do that, and so he is doing a great job around the track right now. But here comes Aaron Plemons. He's going to look to the inside going down into turn number 1. Caleb Hall's going to shut the door. He's not going to give him anything. And they make contact. Hall saves it. Plemons going to take over the lead.
And Plemons to the lead. Timmy Holmes is going to get by. Ryan Joyner sneaks by in the 15. Hall up the racetrack again. That car just driving terribly for him. Lathan Joyner goes by. Here comes Chase Johnson. Chase Johnson kind of out of nowhere. He started deep in this field tonight in the 83. He is going to move into the top 5 now.
Here comes Dylan Canova in the 70. Canova amazingly has a pretty clean race car. He's been in the middle of all of this stuff happening. Look at the front end of that car. Looks pretty decent. Oh, and he gets into, and I say that, and he gets into Caleb Hall going through 3 and 4. Caleb Hall saves it in that junkmobile. So here comes Craig Tully to the inside. Back up front, Aaron Plemons leading. Timmy Holmes running second. Ryan Joyner third. They have kind of gotten away a little bit. We get a yellow.
Tad Douglas around and into turn 1. And this one involved Tad Douglas and JJ Chansey going into turn 1. And again, kind of a similar deal. Car on the outside trying to get down to the bottom. Car on the inside already there.
There we go off of turn number 4. That's incredible that we've seen that many times tonight. That these guys here clear and they think that I don't race anymore, Jeff. This is why. I don't get it. Let's look at JJ Chansey's view of this, shall we? We'll look at this one again. We've seen what it looks like to everybody else. You're side by side with a guy coming off turn number 4. Your car's wounded. You get on the throttle. And in fact, you hear him lock the brakes up. He just can't slow down fast enough. Rick Rube sneaks by to the inside. So I think we've had an epidemic of drivers just clearing themselves down the front straightaway. Again, the spotter probably shouting clear. Maybe. I would guess yes, and that's why they're diving to the bottom. But it's so late on the straightaway. It's basically as the corner, as they start to apex into the corner, that the driver that's underneath them that's trying to make that move or came off the corner side by side, They cannot see that driver. Now, granted, if you weren't side by side and the guy underneath you just tries to stick his nose in there at the last minute, then yeah, that's a different situation. But if you were side by side and you are just clearing yourself at the start of the apex of turn number 1, you're not really clear.
Well, Bill, this has been a wild one here. This has gone kind of off the rails in the last about 50 laps or so. They got off to a fantastic start. There was some great green flag racing early on, and now as cars are starting to get wounded, it's just really stacked up the field. A lot of poor driving cars right now, and I think it's just making the problem worse. But we're going to go back to green flag racing. This thing is starting to wind down. We're going to go back to green with about 11 to go. And right now, Aaron Plemons, he's out front, but he is said on the radio his car is not driving very well. And Timmy Holmes on the outside here. He's got a clean race car. Ryan Joyner behind him. Latham Joyner in that second row. They got clean race cars as well. So Plemons is going to have his work cut out for him if he wants to hold on to this one.
Plemons with a nice jump on the restart. Here comes Ryan Joyner up to the inside. That's going to be a battle for your second position. They're going to be side by side down into turn number 1. Joyner trying to take away the second spot. He's trying to sneak a win here. So he has had a rough start to tonight's evening, but he's going to move into second in turn number 3.
And Latham Joyner going to take advantage as Timmy Holmes gets up the racetrack here. Quick qualifier now fading on the outside line. Just could not get to the bottom. Latham Joyner up into the third spot. Here comes Chase Johnson. He takes a peek, and Timmy Holmes going to shut the door, going to hold on to fourth.
Here comes Timmy Holmes back to the inside. He's going to look to the inside of Latham Joyner. Doesn't have the spot. He'll back off. They'll stay single file down through turns 3 and 4. A little farther back, Reagan Parent and Craig Tully are battling. That's going to be a battle for the 12th position. Tully has it. Parent wants it. He's going to move by through turns 1 and 2.
So Aaron Plemons out front being chased by Ryan Joyner. Joyner has come from deep in the field, 22nd to second now, and he's trying to get that last position he needs to win this Wet Willy 125, but Plemons opens up the gap down the back straightaway. He got a fantastic run. It's about 0.3 of a second last time by the start-finish line, and I think he might extend that lead just a bit here.
Plemons out front, complaining about a car that's not driving very well. Well, it looks pretty good to me as he's in the catbird seat with just over 5 laps remaining in this race. Gets a little loose off of turn number 2 down the back straightaway. Here comes Ryan Joyner closing the gap as they enter turn number 3.
Trouble on the back straightaway. It's Connor Jones around into the infield, and that is going to trigger a yellow here with about 5 laps to go when they cross the line. We're getting towards green-white checker territory.
Oh, there's a song for that, Jeff. I think you know the song. It's All By Myself. Connor Jones on the bottom. Caught the apron, spins out in front of Bladen Edwards. Bladen Edwards does a great job not getting into him. I'm not sure. I know we have a yellow limit, Jeff. I know Connor Jones has been involved with a lot of stuff tonight. Not all his fault.
Yeah, that is his third caution, so he is done for the evening.
And next week. That third caution comes with a parking and a 1-week suspension here in the Late Model Challenger Series. This might not be the appropriate time, but we would like to give a shout out to our series sponsor, County Road Custom. County Road Custom has some awesome stuff on their website. Check it out at countyroadcustom.com. You guys have seen the custom tumblers that they give out for our champions in this series for different championship races. We had a B main champion last season. Dave Corsall was the champion in that series, or the B main champion in that series. Felix Gratton got the custom tumbler for the championship in the series.
So I believe this might put us in the green-white checker territory right now. We're about to start lap 123, still under caution here. So Aaron Plemons, Ryan Joyner, Latham Joyner, Timmy Holmes, Chase Johnson, Dylan Canova, AJ Rogers, Sean English, Chris Roma, Jackson Crowder, your top 10. Caleb Hall holding on to 11th, Reagan Parent 12th, Craig Tolley, Josh Cosick, Josh Parrish, Blayton Edwards, JJ Chansey, Tad Douglas, Rick Rube, and Ricky Howell currently your top 20. Those are the only cars on the lead lap. Ricky Howell got a couple laps back the last few cautions. He is back on the lead lap.
I don't think we have a car in the field, Jeff, that doesn't have some bit of damage on it. Latham Joyner might be the cleanest car. Roma has a very clean car. Chris Roma, that car, I might have to take my words back. I think the 83 is clean.
Yeah, he's done a great job staying out of trouble tonight, and he's got a good run to show for it as well. So we are officially in green-white checkered territory. This will be the first of 3 if needed, but hopefully we get it in right here. Aaron Clemens, Ryan Joyner on the front row. This is the first time we've seen Joyner restart on the front row. He's going to try to get out ahead of the 67 a little bit, try to time this restart. You got a little sideways coming to the green. Clemens takes us back, green flag racing. Here comes Latham Joyner to the inside.
Joyner versus Joyner for second place. That's exactly what Clemens wants to see. Now Ryan Joyner clears Latham Joyner down the back straightaway. Single file down into turn number 3.
Ryan Joyner going to give the bumper to Aaron Clemens, gets him up the racetrack, but it's not enough. The 67 still has the position. Now into turn 1, Ryan Joyner to the inside, to the apron. He has it now door to door with Aaron Clemens down the back straightaway. A little contact into turn 3, coming to the white flag. They're actually coming to the checkered flag. Trouble off turn 4. Ryan Joyner going to make contact. He is going to win the Wet Willy 125. Latham Joyner is spinning to the infield. Aaron Clemens going to get credit for second. Latham Joyner crosses the line third, spinning. Timmy Holmes fourth. Chase Johnson fifth.
Holy cow. Well, that got exciting for a lap. Even though we weren't sure what lap it was, but that's okay. 6th place, Dylan Canova. 7th place, Sean English. AJ Riders came home 8th. Jackson Crowder 9th. Caleb Hall 10th. Regan Parent came home 11th. Craig Tully 12th. Chris Roma 13th. Josh Parrish 14th. JJ Chansey 15th. Rick Rube 16th. Tad Douglas 17th. Ricky Howell 18th. Josh Cosick 19th. And Blayton Edwards rounded out the top 20. Donuts for Ryan Joyner as he came from way back in the field after getting an AOL in the beginning of this race from last week. Ends up winning it tonight. The Wet Willy Howls. Wet Willy 125 here at Stafford.
Well, Bill, we got our race winner already with us, Ryan Joyner. You had a penalty to start the week. You had to race, kind of keeping your head on your shoulders right there, coming deep in the field. I think you started about 24th after the EOL. You pick up the win. What was it like just getting through kind of the chaos that was the middle of that race field?
I got really lucky through the wrecks. Every time I chose the bottom and the bottom opened up, so I just found a hole every wreck somehow.
So you made it through the middle of the field, but then you got up to the front where those guys were actually kind of racing, Ryan, and then you were able to best those guys. When you got up to the front, did you have any kind of strategy, or was it just a matter of trying to put down your best lap every lap around?
Well, whenever Caleb was leading, it was really hard because he done some weird stuff on the restarts, so nobody could guess it, and it made it a lot harder. So we just really had to back it down until Caleb got past. And whenever Caleb got past, we could start racing again because Clemens is at least a little predictable. Like he goes where normal people go.
Well, you talked about the restarts, how unpredictable they were, but how hard is it? We saw a lot of guys fighting to get to the bottom. How important was it to get to the bottom of the racetrack and find those gaps going into turn 1?
It just depended on if you wanted to get wrecked or not. If you didn't find a hole, you could pinch and maybe ruin their straightaway run to get down. But if you didn't right there, they were going to line up on the bottom and go around you. It's probably 2.5 tenths off on the top.
Well, Ryan, you had a tough week last week. You come back this week, you drive through the field after getting that EOL, go all the way back to the field, win the race. We were watching a tremendous amount of caution flight. You said you were dodging wrecks all night long. What do you think is causing the wrecks in the middle of this field? I mean, we just talked. Jeff said there's the pinching happening. You're saying the pinching is happening. What do you think's happening out there that all these guys are just making contact and you're having to dodge all these incidents?
I guess these guys don't realize you can pinch somebody without doing them wrong. So whenever you pinch them, they wreck you. So that of course doesn't help. But you just got straight idiots in here sometimes that don't know what they're doing. You have to watch out for them mainly.
Well, Ryan, you pick up your first win of the season now, and as we said, you had kind of a bad first week. Now you gain some valuable points heading into the playoffs. If you manage to stay in the top 8, you end up with a bonus point heading into that chase of that playoff. So, what's your strategy now for the rest of the season to make sure you're part of that top 8?
I'm just gonna keep on chasing wins. That's all I can do.
It's actually a great strategy. Well, Ryan, you've shown a ton of speed here in this series the first 2 weeks. Obviously, last week didn't end the way you wanted to, but tonight, of course, it did. This is what you want to have happen. So, who do you want to thank that has gotten you this point? Helped you get this much speed in the super late model.
All my friends from the TTK group, my sponsors from real life, KW Locksmith, Ride Time, auto sales, and my dad, my grandma, and really everybody that helps me.
All right. Thanks so much, Ryan, for taking the time to talk with us. We're gonna let you go celebrate. You had some nice donuts there. We're gonna let you go hang out with your crew or your guys on Discord and have a good time tonight. Congratulations on your first ITZR victory.
Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations, Ryan.
Thank you.
Let's get to talk to tonight's winner, Jeff. That was the first time we've ever been able to talk to Ryan Joyner. I would like to hear a little bit more enthusiasm out of a man that just came home with a win.
Yeah, one of those guys, I guess, that wins a lot. It didn't get too excited, but here we go. Guy finished second tonight. Aaron Plemons, you were so close. You were leading at 1 point there, and then Ryan kind of put the bumper to you. Was there anything you could do there to kind of defend against that?
No. After that, the lap car hit the leader, and I was right behind the leader when it happened. It kind of junked my car too. I was down a little bit of power, and the car just darted left, right, down straight away. I had nothing for anybody. I was still surprised that I was leading, or got a kind of little jump. But I definitely didn't want to see that yellow at the end. It kind of messed me up a little bit. I knew I was going to get beat. I just had nothing.
So, Aaron, explain to us. We watched throughout that race, and we just talked to Ryan, and Ryan said some of the restarts were a little bit wonky, and it was hard to time them and figure out what was going on up front. But explain to us what's going on the restarts that you're seeing. Obviously, there was one restart where you were on the outside, and Caleb was to the inside, and it looked like you guys came to the line a little bit awkwardly, and it kind of just stacked up the field and caused some mayhem. What would it, from your opinion, what was going on in those restarts?
So the restart's kind of hard in these super late models. So the leader gets to start in second gear, and he could just fire right off. If you start in second gear behind, like row 2 or something, you're gonna spin your tires pretty easily because you're in the corner. So you're always trying to be on your toes, either in third gear and trying to get the RPM a little bit up, or just trying to get a little jump. But obviously that don't work for some of these guys. And that one restart where we came to the line weird, I went on the green, and I thought the rule is the leader has to go on the green, but apparently there's a little talk about that. But other than that, it wasn't that great of a race, but hopefully it was just a little bit entertaining for the people that like to see junked race cars.
Well, Aaron, we're now heading to a big track, Milwaukee Mile, next week. How do you feel about going to a 1 mile racetrack now with the Super Late Model?
I feel pretty confident. I'm pretty decent in Milwaukee. I'm good at saving tire there. Hopefully it's not. I don't think it'll be as hectic as this race was, considering it's a little short track and people just dive bomb to get by people. There's 2 lanes really there, as compared to Stafford, which the bottom's dominant. So hopefully it'll be way more fun than it was tonight.
Well, Aaron, we always talk towards the end of the interview. We want to have drivers thank their friends, thank their sponsors, things like that. It's always a weird question because people are like, "Hey, you got fixed setups. Of course they have speed." But there's a certain way to drive the super late model to gain speed, and every driver has to learn it, usually with other people giving them tips and things like that. So who do you want to thank that has given you the ability to be this fast in this race car?
Oh, I just gotta thank all my teammates at BHR, Brinkley Hefner Racing. We're a good group of guys. We love racing fixed setup stuff. We always give each other pointers, and I think it's the best short track team around for fixed setup racing. And I also gotta thank JHCD for making our cars look beautiful. Jacob Hefner, he always does a great job, and hope to see everyone next week. And thank you.
All right, Aaron, thanks so much for taking the time to talk with us. Great run tonight. Sorry you couldn't hold on there at the finish, but you put in a heck of an effort.
All right, thanks, man.
Great job, Aaron.
Thank you, buddy.
So now we're gonna have our third place finisher Latham Joyner join us, and Latham, it's first time we gotten to talk to you, but you had a fantastic run tonight. It just kind of seemed like every time the caution would come out, you ended up in a bad spot on the restart. How tough was it to have to restart on the outside in like the fourth position?
It felt like I was on the outside, but it really wasn't that bad. I was just restarting third, and if I was over the top, I'd just get a little bit of an arc and then shift to fourth a little bit early so the tires wouldn't spin, and I was able to just carry more momentum than whoever would be on the bottom and get clear normally.
So Latham, you started the day in our Stafford preview, and you came through. How did it feel out there? I mean, you were doing a great job battling with Ryan Joyner, no relation, of course. But there's quite a there were some heated battles going on up front through all the mayhem that was happening behind. But how did it feel moving through the field like that?
Yeah, I stayed out of trouble. I wasn't fast. I'm not really good in these cars. I don't ever run them except for in here. But I kind of just rode, and everything just seemed to work out. I'm good friends with Ryan and Flemings, so obviously good to just have us in the top three. I wasn't too rowdy for me. I didn't have any X's until like lap 100. That dude stopped on the front stretch, and then that big old pile up on the next restart. That was the only 4 X's I got the whole race.
Well, things got a little wild there at the end, and you saw that contact in front of you on the green-white checkered. Was there any part of you that was thinking about trying to put the bumper to the guys ahead of you, or what did you need to win that race?
I mean, I obviously wasn't as fast as them, but since we got that restart and I was able to like get a good restart, I kind of stayed with them. And then they made contact off of 4 coming to the white, and I kind of caught the wall, and it kind of sucked me in. So then I had to overdrive turn 1 to keep clear of Timmy. And then just Timmy got into me through 1 and 2, so that kind of killed the run for the backstretch. I think I barely got into Ryan, but it was more of like me and Timmy driving in, trying to get each other, and then we just ended up barely touching Ryan, I think, and he kind of hit Flemings, and then obviously we wrecked across the line, but Flemings just trying to get all he can with that damaged car.
So next week, Latham, we head to the Milwaukee Mile. How do you feel about your chances at such a big racetrack? A lot of guys running the super late model aren't used to running that large of a racetrack in this race car. How do you feel things are going to go next week?
Feel good. I did not expect today to go as good as it did. I didn't expect me to be as fast as I was anyway, and then the finish to be as good also. But I like it. I've ran official there. I've raced Flemings there before, and he beat me once. I beat him before there in official. It's really probably one of I like the most racetracks because you have to drive it kind of funky because it's not a normal super racetrack. But I think I have a pretty good shot at least top 5, top 10 maybe.
All right, Latham. Well, we want to give everybody a chance. That every time we talk to somebody, we want to give them a chance to thank all the people they need to thank. And we know a lot of people help out in sim racing. Even it takes a lot of people to kind of do all of this and be fast everywhere. Who do you need to thank?
Yeah, first and foremost, Brinkley Hefner Racing and the team I'm on. Thanks to them. Just having people to run and run practice laps and base stuff off of them. Josh Clemens, Blaze Brinkley on Monday night. So getting to talk to them. And then Excalibur Racing Engines and Elite Cuts in real life help out with that. This is the first time I got to talk to y'all, so it's a pretty good feeling right now.
Might have lost Bill's microphone there, but appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. It is good it's good to talk to you, and we look forward to talking to you more throughout the season, maybe even Monday nights eventually.
Yes, sir. Maybe. We'll see.
Well, there we go. Our top 3 finishers for tonight. And Bill, it was a tough one tonight at Stafford. We started off with some great racing, got a little wild there at the end, and still some things to clean up and deal with. But right now, the Challenger Series, we're starting to see some guys emerge that are maybe some contenders for moving up to Monday night. And that's what we want to see. We want to sort out who is going to be capable of racing in our premier Monday night series. That's where the big money is. And I think we're starting to see some guys like Ryan Joyner, Aaron Clemens, Latham Joyner. These guys are showing a lot of skill and speed.
Well, we'd like to see a lot of skill and speed and a lot more green flag racing to make sure that they have that speed all the time. We saw the difference between the two series last week we could see a difference, and of course this week with only one caution, a late model shootout series, and then tonight just piling up race cars as if they're free. Oh, they are free, Jeff. That's probably why it's happening. But just we can see the difference, and that's the difference between Monday night and Tuesday night. We're seeing who can do, the things that the guys on Monday night are capable of doing, and you saw that last night. So we're trying to separate the men from the boys here, and so far, we have some candidates, but I would like to see some more green flag racing on Tuesday nights.
Well, we will be back in action again on Monday night for the Jeff By Jr. Art 75 from the Milwaukee Mile. Bill, that's my race. So we will
There
be
you
back
go.
next. Yeah, so we will be back next Monday night. You're not going to want to miss it. 9 p.m. Eastern. That's when we will go live Monday night, Tuesday night. Another Jeff By Jr. Art 75. Going to be fantastic racing. Milwaukee Mile. We've had 2 races in Milwaukee Mile. They've both gone caution free. So I've got good hopes for Milwaukee. I think it's going to be a wild race. I think there's going to be a lot of strategy and tired issues to deal with, and I think that's going to make for a very fun strategic event.
Yeah, I've been in a Milwaukee Mile race here in the Late Model Shootout Series, and I am not a fast driver, and I burned up my tires, so it is difficult to run that racetrack. Yes, I think it will be very exciting to see cars move forward, and cars. We'll have the comers and goers next week. We'll have the guys that run out and think they're just going to keep it underneath them, and they think they're saving, and then the guys from behind, like we saw Brett Suggs do last night, that was really saving and doing a really good job, and they'll move forward towards the end. So I think it's going to be really fun to watch.
Well, shout out to Wet Willy Howes for sponsoring tonight's Wet Willy 125. Again, County Road Custom for all of their support all season long, and Wisconsin Weens and Walleyes for all they do for the series. We can't wait to have them back next week. It's going to be a ton of fun. Make sure you're hanging out with us. Thank you for everybody watching on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch, and we will see you next week.